Edgar Allan Poe once wrote, "Were I to define the term art, I should call it the reproduction of what the senses perceive in nature through the veil of the soul." Artists of all mediums believe the Flint Hills can reanimate the soul, and expressions of their encounter are necessary to complete the experience.
Trombone, 3 before 15. What do I need to do besides point right at you and look at you?
That's Jake.
Okay. Can you handle that? Sure. Okay. I'm sorry.
Kansas musician Gary Gackstetter has been visiting the Flint Hills regularly since the 1980s.
It was about 20 years ago. I was driving. I just took some side roads on a little father-son trip with my little boy, and just out on a weekend trying to. We found one of those weekend travel books, and just ended up in Mattville Green and Chase County and Cottonwood Falls. And I felt something very strange the whole time I was on that drive. I'm feeling it now. It was something that was just a pull. It was pulling at me. I started coming back all the time, and every free weekend I had for a long time. Came back here, started driving the dirt roads, started driving around and looking for different things, trying to find out what this connection was that I felt with the land and with the sky. Because I always feel like I'm, walking on the bottom of an ocean out here. And my son and I would drive around in just complete silence. We wouldn't talk to each other. We'd just look out the windows and go for long walks, and it ended up being some of the most memorable times I ever spent with my son.
Gary is also a visual artist whose pen and ink drawings have won awards and are featured in galleries across the region. However, it took many years of artistic soul-searching before he felt he could grasp what the Flint Hills presented.
I started to draw these things much later. I didn't feel like I could express it. I didn't feel like I could even come close to drawing any of this stuff or writing music about it. There was just too much, and quite frankly, I didn't have it in me. I didn't have enough in me. It took a good decade of walking these hills to be able to even come close to understanding it well enough to come close to expressing it through me. And I always wondered what that connection was.
Gackstetter is intrigued by the many forms and character of limestone, namely the stone arch bridges found on the back roads of the Flint Hills.
That's what catches my eye. It's the shapes and the forms and the way the light plays on it. And then the limestone, especially with pen and ink, you can really make limestone speak when you try to draw it with pen and ink, and catch every little shadow and shape inside of it.
The formations and strata, in concert with nature, reveal countless curves and angles, transfigured by constantly changing shadows and light, maneuvering across the surface of the hills. Creeks and rivers randomly crack the hill's facade in a complicated yet perfect water system that flows through the region. And the sun dictates how the hills are perceived by the naked eye. Late Renaissance and early Baroque painters advanced the notion of chiaroscuro, or light-dark, as a way to emphasize three-dimensional volume. Dramatic contrasts between light and dark created a shadowy, mysterious world on canvas. But in the Flint Hills, the sun and clouds work in daylight to create a dynamic canopy over the land, and fire and moon at night.